Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here back with more Let's Play Trials of Mana. Alright, so we're gonna go this way and continue on with the cave. Look at it. Oh god, okay, so this is Charlotte. Of course, all of her R's are W's. Yeah. I thought I was a goner. Chawotte. Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together. I'm a famous beauty for... You're like 6. Yeah, stay away from the ledges, but... And now she's crying. You can experience the previous journey of your new companion Charlotte. Play through their past. You cannot save during a flashback chapter. Any items obtained during the flashback will be lost. That's basically like allowing you to play their intro scene, like what we did for Durin. I'm not going to be doing that, mostly because I feel like it kind of makes little sense. It gives you a little bit more familiarity with the character, but at the same time, like, there's not enough of their mechanics to have to learn, because everyone's basically pretty bare bones. And it kind of takes the reason to start a new game and play through that character's story it takes it a little far away. So I'm just going to be skipping that. So we're not going to be doing the extra characters. But if you say no, it gives you a quick recap. Grew up with no parents. There was a priest in window that was always nice to me. He was kind and helpful. So, asked him to go to Astoria, look for something. Got a really, really bad feeling. Oh my god. This character alone is the reason why I turned off voices. Alright, so she went after her friend bouncing off of a spring. Those things were actually in the original game. It was weird. A creepy jester-looking individual took him away. And now she's searching for him. How does these stories intersect? Couldn't even get there until the barrier, until you open the path. So, she got stuck on this side of it, too. And now she's just lost wandering a cave. But she's now our healer. So, she's going to join us. If you hadn't been there, I would have died. It would have been good night, Charlotte. Yeah, I'm headed to Wendell to see the Priest of Light anyway. You can come with, but don't get comfy. You want to see Grandpa? Why didn't you say so? You didn't know it, but you helped your chances. Actually, the granddaughter of the Priest of Light. Alright, how about you stop trying to fall off things? Charlotte, join the party. Zune, we have another person that we can switch back and forth between. Yay! So I have a healer. Not that again, a healer is absolutely needed in this game, but it doesn't hurt. Alright, so we're gonna just take you out. Goblins are kind of a pain in the ass. Enemies are gonna have a little bit more HP now. Mostly because we have a second person. So, yeah, keep that in mind. They'll be just a little bit more dangerous. And they have an axe that they're going to try to throw at your face. But he's got an axe in his face. Except not. Well, I mean, actually, I could throw in. I have a hand axe that I could throw. Get a little bit of health. And a cup of wishes. So any of these things that you open will affect everyone. So that just healed like 30 some odd HP for both Duran and Charlotte. So that is helpful. You don't have to pick and choose. When I first played it, I thought that was, I had to switch back and forth. It took me a minute to realize, because there is a lot of information to disseminate in combat, and it gets more complex as the game goes on when you start getting access to buffs and debuffs. So yeah, like, falling asleep is a thing to keep in mind. Alright, got some stuff. And we're gonna go this way. If a character gets poisoned, they'll receive poison damage periodically until healed. Use medical herb or twinkle rains. Oh god, her voice is already starting to rub off. Poison is also one of the effects that will carry over after battle. Most other effects will not. I say most. There are going to be a couple. Alright, so we can see there's a treasure chest and a treasure chest over there, because we are almost at the city. And we got 2 candies. And 14 of their money. See, these are the spring things. It's a little weird to have them in this game. Like, they were in the original game, but they were very... It was very different because, again, it was a 2D sprite-based game. I actually kind of imagined to see more of those here. But I haven't, which is weird. As far into the game as I got, I didn't see really too many more of those. Now that I'm thinking about it, that raises some questions. Given how much of this game was... Like, so saying that this game is a remake is kind of disingenuous, because really it's the story and the characters that are all the same. Everything else is different. Most of the mechanics have gotten an overhaul. There's Charlotte. Anytime you go into a town, your allies will just be sitting there wandering around. But yeah, so much of this has changed to a almost ridiculous degree, that saying that this is a remake is... It doesn't feel as accurate, because when everything has changed. Kind of like the Final Fantasy VII remake. Like, I know remake is in its title, but I feel real weird calling it a remake, because you take a turn-based RPG and then turn it into an action RPG with very different mechanics. That's not necessarily a remake, that's a retelling. But I get that we also have a very weird way of describing games these days. Like, it is very difficult to say, like, yes, this is a remake or a remaster. Like, and people get really hung up on the nuances of the definitions of those. So, like, that's, you know, I get it. It's like, people are very protective of, you know, properties and things like that, you know, resonate with them. But I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it. Alright, let's see what we can get. We can get an iron sword, which we already have. We can get a wood flail, which would be slightly better for Charlotte. And then we can sell her normal... So, I don't know what flail she has that a wood flail is better. Normally you would think a wood flail would be the bottom of the barrel, but apparently not. I feel like that could be a odd translation. And that's actually one thing that they did for this game, is they went through and fixed a lot of weird translation parts. The fan translation was actually really, really well done, because they knew not to take everything completely word for word. Because that's the thing, translating from one language to another, it's always going to be slightly different in terms of, like, intent, or, you know, primary and secondary meaning. It's difficult to do. Anyone who's done any sort of translation work will tell you it can be weird. I have actually seen a literal translation, word for word, from Japanese to English of Seiken Densetsu 3, much like the original word for word translation of, like, Shining Force 3. It's like, some things are just like, really? That's how you're gonna go with describing that? That's okay, sure. I guess. But yeah, that's I got completely sidetracked with what I was talking about with translations there. But yeah, so many of the things that have changed from the game, like the original game, there was a not game-breaking, but a stat-breaking bug. The luck stat was supposed to increase critical hits. It didn't. The crit formula was completely just disabled. Like, you could still get critical attacks, but, like, any crit modifiers were just turned off because they screwed something up. And so just instead of, like, fixing it, just turning it off was the better option. And there's actually a translation patch, one of the patches that goes through and fixes that. And naturally that has changed here because we have a luck stat, but we are actually missing one stat from the original game. So, yeah. Things have changed. Just a bit. I don't think there's actually anything else item-wise here. Pretty sure that was the only thing. Which seems weird. You would expect something with, like, this much, I guess, surface area. Oh no, there is something else. Haha. Like, something with this much surface area of 3D environment, they would put more stuff. But they didn't. Alright, let's go talk to the Holy Priest. Just go straight. He's right here. Found your granddaughter. Tell me how to class change. Don't swing your sword at him, Dern. Just talk to him. Be polite. To quote the sniper from TF2, be polite, be efficient. Have a plan to kill everyone you meet? No, we shouldn't. You're the Priest of Light, right? Tell me how to change my class. I need to be stronger. Now, please. Impossible. There's no way you could switch classes right now. You lack the experience necessary for such a feat. But you just need to get more experience. You must have at least heard tell of the Mana Stones, correct? First, you must gain enough experience through battle, and then call upon a Mana Stone's power to switch to another class. Okay. Who's got time for that? Ain't nobody got time for that, Your Eminence. If I don't get stronger, I can't give that Crimson Jerk what's coming to him. Alright, listen to what the priest said. Get stronger. I have something to say, Your Eminence. Please, I've come from the Sanctuary of Mana to tell you the mana tree is withering. Mana power grows weaker by the day. And suddenly the priest is like, holy crap, you have fairy with you? But without the mana tree, the seals of the mana stones will break. The Benevodons will be released into the world. And then we're all just right screwed. Benevo what? You're acting like this doesn't affect you. You've been chosen by Fairy. This means that you alone can retrieve the Sword of Mana from the Sanctuary. I've been what? She didn't mention that. Yeah, you kind of glossed over that part, Fairy. With a man in the world so depleted, a fairy can't leave the sanctuary for long without a host. If I hadn't found you, I wouldn't have made it. Well, at least she's not dead, I guess. Yeah, okay, that's good for you and all, but no thanks. I don't need the stress in my life. Go haunt that old man instead. Would I be able to bear your burden? Fairy finds a host, they're bound to them for their whole life. Only death can part them. Oh, well, that sucks for me. I didn't agree to this. I don't need a Sword of Mana or whatever. Dude, it's a mythical sword. You want to defeat the Crimson Wizard, correct? Then the Sword of Mana, you'll be the strongest swordsman in all the world. Well, when you put it that way. Sneaking around in my mind, but what's the Sword of Mana anyway? Magic sword. Just go with that. Magic sword. Alright, so now we're going to get a crash course in this. It's an alternate form of the golden wand used to create the world itself. The one who holds the mana sword gains awesome power. The sword lies in the roots of the mana tree, waiting. It'll still be there, waiting. Before the mana tree withers completely, you must reclaim the sword and awaken the goddess of mana once more. She alone can bring peace to the realm and grant your wish. Okay. So if I get the sword, I can defeat the Crimson Wizard. Where can I find the Sanctuary of Mana? How do I get there? I am so sorry, but with mana so depleted, I don't have enough power to open the portal to the Sanctuary, not by myself. Throughout the world are 8 points of mana energy, mana stones sealing away the fearsome benevolence. If you activate the mana stones, the portal connecting our world to the Sanctuary of Mana should appear. So we've got to go activate 8 stones. Talk about a fetch quest. The portal is the Sanctuary, however, you should know that the energy inside the 8 mana stones was sealed on purpose as the mana goddess began her slumber. Because that is what keeps the benevolence at bay. As we've just established. When ages passed, there was once an ancient spell used to control the energy from the mana stones and bend it to the user's will. However, countries refused to allow each other any control of the spell and use of the mana stones. The war that followed caused unspeakable damage. It was nearly as destructive as a sealed benevolence. Okay, well, I guess no one wants to let anyone else have that kind of power. Survivors cursed the magic to avoid future tragedy, and forbade anyone from using it. Now the life of any person who uses the spell will be forfeit. Oh. Well, that's dark. There's no longer anyone alive who knows how to work this cursed spell. Well, guess nothing's... If we borrow the powers of the elemental spirits that reside near the mana stones instead, I can combine their powers with the remains of mine and open the portal. Yes, because each mana stone there is a corresponding elemental spirit that just kind of lives there. I guess the spirits keep the stones anchored. If you wish to find a mana stone, I've heard many say that the light stone is in Cascade Cavern, guarded by the elemental Lumina. The cavern you pass through in order to reach here. Well. Take Fairy. With what remains of her power, she can help you find Lumina in the cavern. See if you may borrow his light powers. Yay! We have a objective. Granted you a new ability. Learn chain ability. HP boost. Priest of Light, chain ability, base HP increased by 30. Chain abilities can be used by all party members. Learn more abilities by allocating training points and meeting people along your journey. You may learn chain abilities from quite unexpected acquaintances. Alright, so we don't have Charlotte in our party at the moment, so we can't equip that on her right now, but we will, and that'll give everyone 30 extra HP. And speaking of Charlotte, I need to save Heath. Coming with you whether you like it or not. Charlotte joined the party again. So her removal of the party. Alright. So we have 4 points that we can put for Charlotte. So she learns some different things. Mighty, power attack damage increased by 5%. Sturdy, attack increases by 5% when HP is at 80% or above. Strength plus 5. HP plus 5, Defender. Base defense increases by 10. But also base attack decreased by 10. And stamina up. Close call. Recovery. And intellect. That's actually going to be somewhat useful. But this is where we want to put our first points, because we want Healing Light. But this is part of the problem. Like, we can learn the ability, but we can't actually use it until we meet that spirit. And I feel like this is something that was not in the original game. Add 5% of CHK when healing. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Like, that'll be the first thing we get. Alright, so we can also get some abilities. We can put HP boost, which, let's see. HP 132. If we remove that, his HP is still 132. I thought that effect would affect everyone, because that's a chain ability. But it doesn't seem like it. Okay, well, I'll have to look into how those actually work, because my understanding of that is now apparently not accurate. Alright. Why? So, I seem to be having some encoding issues with this. I'm wondering where they are. Like, I figured it would be in the heavy movement sections, but apparently not. But yeah, so, I guess I will go to the inn and save it, because I'm about out of time. So, yeah, let's go save, and then we will... I'll also use the item seeds that I've picked up. Not that I have too many. Oh, I've got 8. Alright, let's see what items we get. Chobin Oil, Spectre Eye, Batmo Eye, Candy, Basilisk Fang, Honey Elixir, Candy, Poto Oil. And we've reached level 2! Magic Pot, now level 2. Higher chance of enemies dropping seeds, and seeds have a higher chance of getting better items. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save. I'm not worried about resting. But yeah, I'll go ahead and end this episode here, and I will see you all in the next installment. So until then, later everyone.